Taking a live look at our interactive Storm Tracker 2 radar, snow is moving across the inland northwest at this hour. You can see really all over eastern Washington and North Idaho as the morning continues. Glad to have you here with us this morning on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham. We do have live team coverage spread out across the region, tracking conditions and helping you prepare for the day ahead. Amanda Rowley is keeping an eye on the roads and letting us know how the city is preparing for that snow. But we want to begin with meteorologist Jeremy Legoo in the Outdoor Weather Center. Jeremy, the timing of this storm really has changed over the weekend. When can we expect to see more widespread snow in the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene areas?
That's really going to start working its way in here in the next couple of hours. Right now here as we officially start the 6 o'clock hour, a couple of flurries here on the South Hill, but one of the takeaways that I have is that on the cement and even right here along the little ledge, it's sticking. It's already starting to do its thing and pile up, so it's not going to take much for that to happen. We sit at 24 degrees and so does a lot of the ground. And what that means is that snow is going to stick, and it's going to stick quick. For that reason, we have winter weather advisories in place. That's down in the Palouse, does include places like Pullman and Moscow, does include Highway 195 and Highway 95, and then up and over those mountain passes where we are expecting significantly higher amounts of snow. So 1 to 4, kind of depending on where you are. If you're driving one of those roads, you get up into the mountains, about 6 could fall in some locations. But as Tim mentioned, the radar is showing that snow moving in, and it is moving in from the northwest, which is exactly what we expected. So as we zoom in, you can see it kind of working its way into Spokane, starting to pick up here now. This really isn't the official start of it just yet. I think that holds off here for another couple of hours. What we'll wind up getting is that bigger push of moisture arriving after the morning commute and then continuing through the middle part of the day, then really targeting the Palouse in Idaho later on this afternoon and evening. That's where I think we'll have the biggest impacts on the evening commute. Here in town, whatever falls during the day likely sticks around through the day with some cooler temperatures in the forecast. By this afternoon, we're not even hitting freezing, so anything that falls sticks. And for us in Spokane, likely less than an inch, but I'll walk you through just why it sticks around coming up in the full forecast.
The city of Spokane is keeping a close eye on the weather as it moves in and saying this really isn't expected to be a major weather event, but they do want people to be ready. So our team coverage continues now this morning with Amanda Rowley. Amanda, tell us more about their plans.
Well, Tim, we are in Deer Park this morning where we've already started to see some flurries in the area. There's a bit of a dusting on the roads. I have seen crews out and about laying sand down, a couple actually making a couple passes here at this roundabout where we're at. Now, we do know that crews have already started in Spokane working on de-icing, focusing on hills and bridges, since those areas can be a bit tricky for those driving winter weather conditions. So during this year's snow plan, Spokane crews will plow all streets, including residential streets, even if it's just an inch or 2 of snowfall. But that's only the Monday through Friday shifts. Now, if the city gets 4 or more inches of snow, that is when it changes to a 24/7 operation to complete a full city plow. Then it should take crews about 3 days to complete the job. Now, in that case, remember to park on the odd side of the road, the odd numbered side of the road rather, to make it easier for plows to work in neighborhoods. Now, the city also warns it may move RVs, boats, or trailers if they're parked on the street for more than 24 hours. And finally, anyone who needs help shoveling, such as senior citizens or anyone with a disability, just go ahead and give a call to the city at 311 to get that help. Taking a last look out here at Deer Park, like I said, we have a little bit of a dusting here on the road this morning. It was coming down pretty heavily with quite a bit of flurries, but right now it seemed to have taken a pause. So we'll be keeping an eye on that all morning long. I'll send it back to you in the studio, Tim.
Wow, Amanda, look at that parking lot you're standing on right now. It really is starting to accumulate there in Deer Park. Amanda, thank you. Our team coverage continues all morning long. We'll track the conditions closely and keep you updated. In the meantime, it is time for your morning rush. More news in less time. If you have not already picked out a Christmas tree yet, you'll want to do it sooner rather than later. Many local farms around Green Bluff are closing up early this season due to a shortage of Christmas trees. The demand has grown for cutting your own Christmas tree. Recent droughts are also to blame.
the hot, dry summers and lack of moisture. A lot of seedlings that I planted probably the last 3 or 4 years didn't make it.
You can still find a few Christmas trees around the Green Bluff area. You'll want to visit Green Bluff Growers on their website for more information. Scraps is closed for 2 weeks after 2 dogs died from a contagious disease outbreak in their shelter. The bacteria called strep zoo can only be transferred from dog to dog, vet experts say. Scraps gave every dog at the shelter antibiotics and is in the process of calling guardians of dogs that recently left the shelter.
Dogs can acquire this, and usually it's always in shelter situations like Scraps, which is an excellent shelter. They do a very good job there. This can hit at any time for anyone's shelter.
Until Scraps can reopen, it is asking people to help limit animal intake as much as possible. So if you find a healthy stray dog, Scraps says to hold on to them for the time being until their owners can be located. Right here on KREM 2, the Seahawks toppled the San Francisco 49ers in a game that came down to the final play. The Hawks' losing streak comes to an end as they beat the 49ers 30-23. The 49ers would drive down the field on their final drive on 4th down with just seconds left. Back against the wall for Seattle, Carlos Dunlap was able to get a hand on Jimmy Garoppolo's pass and clinch the win. And the Cougs are headed to the Sun Bowl. Last week on Up with KREM, we shared predictions of where they could go, and now we know. The Cougs will face the ACC's Miami Hurricanes, which is a rematch of the 2015 Sun Bowl, where WSU, if you may remember, came out victorious. Now the game will be in El Paso, Texas once again on New Year's Eve at 9 a.m. Pacific. You can watch that game right here on KREM 2. That's your Morning Rush. It's been more than a year since Washington State legalized sports betting, but that didn't mean you could immediately run out and place your bets on your favorite teams, but now you can. KREM 2's Ian Smay reports how one local casino finally opened the doors to its sportsbook this weekend.
If you're going out to Northern Quest Casino this holiday season, you won't be limited to just the table games or slot machines. Starting this weekend, you can also place wagers on some of your favorite sports teams.
The construction is done, and the Turf Club Sportsbook at Northern Quest Casino is finally open for business. So far, people are loving it.
Yeah, so we opened up for a VIP event Friday night and to the public Saturday morning, and so far the response has been great. A lot of people are really enjoying the new space and the new type of entertainment.
For Northern Quest, the sportsbook has been years in the making. Even after the state legalized sports betting in early 2020, the law went into effect right before the start of the pandemic, pausing Northern Quest's plans.
A lot of people were really excited to see this open. We get stopped almost daily. You know, when's it going to open? When's it going to open? We're finally up and running. So a lot of happy folks out there.
Turf Club's doors opened to the public on Saturday morning after a private event on Friday night. So far, the sportsbook has stayed busy. The opening comes in the middle of many major sports seasons in the United States, including the college football and basketball seasons and the regular seasons for the NBA, NFL, and NHL. The sportsbook also offers betting on other sports, such as martial arts, but due to state regulations, betting isn't allowed on games involving colleges or amateur teams based in Washington. If you want to place a bet, those who help you at the counter say it won't take long at all.
Yeah, it takes about 30 seconds to place a bet. If you want a lot of money to place on it, it might take a little longer because you have to get supervisor approval. But yeah, pretty quick process.
After you place your bet, you can catch all of the big games on a big screen with a drink and some food. If you can't make it to the sportsbook, there are also now kiosks around the gambling floor and in the casino's sports restaurant, Epic, where you can place bets on the go. The casino is also working on a mobile betting app that, once released, will allow people to place bets on their phones while they are on Northern Quest property. For Northern Quest, Turf Club's opening is an accomplishment.
A lot of planning and a lot of process to get through to get to this point, and it's done. So yeah, there's definitely a relief.
On top of the excitement of bringing sports betting to the Spokane area, Zenishek also said the sportsbook created 20 new jobs at the casino.
On top of the excitement of bringing sports betting to the Spokane area, Zenishek also said the sportsbook created 20 new jobs at the casino. In the newsroom, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
I hope I'm wrong, but I expect we'll see many more cases in the coming weeks.
The Omicron variant is here in Washington state. Health leaders are preparing to fight back to prevent the spread.
Nothing, you know, this weather you can't control, and I'm just glad to be riding anything, honestly.
Even though we might be getting snow, the opening day for the Inland Northwest Ski Resort still could be a ways away.
And today is all about the snow. The one thing you need to know is that timing puts that snow starting just after the morning commute. It'll still likely have impacts as everybody hits the road in anticipation of our next snow.
Time for your wake-up call. What does the weather look like where you are this morning? Is it frosty? Or are you maybe already seeing some of that snow? You drive the conversation on this show. Text us at the number 509-448-2000 or use the hashtag UpWithKREM on social media. But first, here's a live look outside on the South Hill right now. You can see snow flurries are starting to fall. We say good morning to you, Inland Northwest. Happy Monday. Grab a cup of coffee and join us for more Up with KREM.